Dirty Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Port Hueneme, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, Monday morning.
Monday morning after week one. Look at Ruther's face. This is like a kid. This is like when you go to your cousin's house on Christmas Day after you opened up all your gifts and you walk in, you're doing the Vince McMahon walk in. Everybody's like, hey, how's Christian? You're like, yeah, I got the Castle of Grayskull. No big deal.
That's right.
You are amped up.
Well, it's a good feeling. It's nice
Like,
to be.
What is? Let me just ask, because at this point, and Millie is the most recent to do it. We all know that you're basically a Bengals fan, but is that like the perfect situation for you? Like a Bengals barely win over a disastrous Browns team, and so like everybody in Ohio, everybody in Cincinnati is like, want to know, baby, and yet you can still like be like, oh, cool, we beat the Browns by 1 point.
No, again, I said last episode, you guys can respectfully disagree. I'm an honest person. I was rooting for them to lose, plain and simple. They didn't lose; they won. So kudos to them for winning. We all know W's. You take a W in the NFL.
You got to eat them when they put them on your plate. You got to eat them.
But does anything from a game like that, and we'll go through all these games, right? Like watching a Bengals team get 7 yards in the second half. Let me repeat, 7 yards. Does that change? Letting kind of Flacco basically do what he wants.
So
nothing changes is my point. My opinion doesn't change about that team.
I didn't watch any of Browns Bengals live. So I was just tracking the score the whole time, and I was just like, huh, really? Huh, okay. And then obviously the Bengals won. And listen, it's the NFL. Again, you got to take W's. Start 1-0. That's all that matters.
For sure.
But yeah, like
let me put it this way, Prano. Like, and I know people are going to use excuses, and that's fine. And I know I can already see Justin being like, Ruther's moving the goalpost. I'm not moving the goalpost. I'll just say this. You look great in the first drive.
Justin's not saying anything for 4 to 6 hours because it's 7:30 in the morning here, and he won't be up until you think you have one way after a week 1 Sunday. Justin's not waking up until 15 minutes before Monday Night Football starts.
You and I know, like that.
He's going to hear that Monday Night Football. That sounds like, oh, you ready for some football? He's like, oh, what day is it?
Oh, that's great. You know those first drives are scripted?
Yeah.
And I was like, my brother, he's like, I'm out with my kids. What? I go, they looked great in the first drive. So I saw a stat. This is wild.
Well, I think I'm the only person. I've been ahead of the curve on a lot of theories, and then there's grumblings. This comes around, that comes around, but like my flag in the ground theories that like I feel like I was the real Christopher Columbus of is the small school or like the not powerhouse quarterback theory. And then the scripted first drive theory. Oh, you look good on the first drive and you fall apart after that. Are you a good football team, or are you a team that knows how to do dress rehearsal?
It's true. Well, that's basically what happened yesterday. I was like, dude, I'll give them credit. The O-line look good. They look good. Here's a wild stat. Bengals get 68 yards in the first drive, finished with 141 yards for the game. So like, whatever. I know you're like, oh, you're rooting. No, nothing changes my opinion.
Did I believe Josh Allen had 251 yards passing in the fourth quarter?
Probably.
In the fourth quarter.
Yeah. That's insane. But like that's my thing. Again, people are going to make excuses, and you're right. Bengals fans, okay, a W is a W. I agree. 41% of your salary is on offense. Your offense looked like dog shit. So like rivalry game in division.
Counterpoint, defense looked okay against the Browns.
Yeah. I mean, look, they got 2 turnovers on drops that went, right to them. Like I was watching, let me put it this way. I was in full zone yesterday, guys. Dude, it couldn't have worked out. Let me just set up the scene here. Brittany's like, I'm taking Isla to Target to look at Halloween decorations. I'm like, perfect. I'm like, okay, we're gonna set this up. We're gonna give Molly her bottle.
I just want to. I want to talk about just that. You moved on from so quick. I'm taking Isla to Target to look at Halloween decorations. Why do I am? What's that?
And of course, buy some.
I know. Why do I imagine Isla is certainly fucking Devil Wears Prada of Halloween? It's like, yeah, I do like this the skull and cauldron, but I don't know. I think this year perhaps it's a zombie year.
That'd be even funnier if I saw that movie and kind of got it. I kind of get what you're saying. I've seen clips. I know what you're saying. So they leave. I try to time it out. Kids, you can't time out. I was like, I'm gonna give Molly, the first games are at 1. I'm gonna try to. I think she's gonna be due for a nap. I'm gonna give her that bottle at like 12:40. I mean, it couldn't have worked out better. Give her the bottle, rock her for a bit, put her in her crib at 12:57. I'm like, let's fucking go. Run down, put the games on. I got my full screen. So I'm watching, I'm not focused like the Bengals game's up, but it's one of many. Yeah. I was texting you. I was watching Giants, Commanders. I was watching them all. And I was in the zone. And I got an entire half and I was geeked. I got an entire half by myself, which is like, that's a big, that's pretty big for me. And obviously I kept watching when they came back and then she woke up or whatever, but I got an entire half. And I have to say, I was really enjoying a lot of the games. There was a lot of fun games, a lot of games that came down to the end, including that Bengals game, which, last year they lose that game. This year they win it because the Browns are even a worse version of the Bengals. I don't know if you saw. He missed an extra point in a 35-yard field goal. Yeah. So it's like there's a difference in that game. You see the Falcons game, the Bucs game, which was a fun one to watch. Same thing, misses a field goal. A lot came down to the end. I can't believe how much I was enjoying Jets, Steelers.
Yeah.
Not that I have high expectations of those teams, but the QBs looked pretty good.
You've got the baby mama and 2 kids. I've got the now wife. So here's how my watching day. So for the last, we've been dating 3 years now. For the last 3, for the 2 full seasons before this, I don't think she had any understanding of anything. So I was just like, yep, got to watch football. I think she might have thought I watched Giants games from like 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. I think she thought Giants games were like 14 hours. Because yesterday game, starts at 10 a.m. Like we had a long week. It was just like, it was one of those ones where you get up, you make coffee, you pop the TV on, you get back in bed, and you're gonna watch the first half before you even like move. So now she's tuned in to the Giants game being on. Then a couple hours later, she realizes the Giants game is over. And she's like, oh, let's go. We're going to go to the outlets. And I was like, I have 7 hours of more football to watch. And she's like, what do you mean more football? You just watched the game. I was like, do you think I was watching the whole? Do you think?
So much to learn.
Yeah. So she's, now that I've got a wife, she's a little more tuned into she's trying to be a more loving, a more understanding, So, okay, how did your team do? How did the Giants do? Like they lost. Great, let's go to the outlets. I was like, no, we're not going to do that.
I think you would have had a better chance yesterday if Russell Wilson skipped the game and went to the outlets.
You want to do this right now?
Yeah.
You want to get into Russell, and
we're gonna get into all of it, but yeah, we'll bounce around.
You're gonna hate this because you're here. This is no ill will toward you, but you're going to be the receiver for this sentiment that really goes to everybody in the football community. But because Russell Wilson sucks and has always sucked. Russell Wilson has been carried, or Russell Wilson has sucked. And you should kill yourself if you ever doubted me. Russell Wilson fucking stinks. Russell Wilson holds the ball too fucking long, always has, always will. Russell Wilson is the epitome of carried game manager. We have all these guys with the fucking, there's empty stats. They put up all these stats and they don't win. Russell Wilson does the exact opposite. He puts up fucking nothing and he wins when his defense is good and when his teams can rush for 200 yards a game. He fucking stinks. Russell Wilson fucking stinks. I'd rather watch Daniel Jones. I'd rather watch Daniel Jones try to figure out how to play quarterback than watch somebody who has accepted long ago that he doesn't know how to play quarterback. I fucking posted on Threads yesterday. All I want in life is a relationship that Russell Wilson has with the football. Just somebody who wants to love me and hold me and never let me go. The man, throw the ball.
Okay.
You think I fucking hated Russell Wilson and the people sucking off Russell Wilson when he was on other teams? He's the Carmelo Anthony of my fucking football team now. When I said I was a Rams fan, I'm fucking a Rams fan. Fuck this fucking Daboll's non-committal on who he's going to start next week. How about this is what you should start next week. You should either start a different quarterback or you should start your car in a closed garage and fucking sit in it. Because Russell Wilson refuses to get rid of the ball. And somebody, I tweeted it, threaded it yesterday, and somebody's like, he's getting fucking, I go, he's been in the league 13 years. He's refused to get rid of the ball the whole fucking time.
Well,
he's
so here's
the
the
one
difference.
quarterback in the modern NFL who does not care for your theory that you should get rid of the ball quickly.
So here's the difference. I'm obviously going to counter. He's not always sucked. He's not good now. He's not good now. He hasn't always sucked. The difference is in the past when he was young and mobile and athletic, not year 13, he could get out of that stuff and make a play. He could do what Lamar Jackson, not to this degree, because Lamar is in a league of his own. Like when Lamar escapes that sack last night, I don't know if you remember, and then I think it was like 19 yards in the fourth quarter. Like, he could do some of those fun things. He could do what Aaron Rodgers used to do. He can't do that now.
Yeah, but guess what? Here's the other.
So he hasn't always sucked. My point is he used to be able to make plays.
Here's the other.
He hasn't though, Joe.
Yes, he has. And here's the other thing.
You're saying he's always sucked. That's just a wrong take.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. The Russell Wilson could escape those situations. Russell Wilson was on a fucking legitimately great Seattle team, and people to this day. Oh, his offensive line. His offensive lines were fucking great. That's why Marshawn Lynch was rushing for 2,000 fucking yards, because they were great. Russell Wilson escaping those situations was Russell Wilson being in those situations because Russell Wilson refuses to get rid of the ball.
I know, but my point is I think you're caught up in 2025 Russell right now. First of all, Marshawn never rushed for 2,000 yards. So that's like not even close. So Marshawn was great, but my point is this: he didn't suck. Like
I counter, he did suck,
but he didn't. You're just being biased because he's on your team and he sucks right now.
Oh, and he sucked on the Broncos, and he sucked on the fucking the end of the Pete Carroll.
But he didn't. He didn't. He didn't though. You're. But that's the thing. Like I'm not defending modern day Russ. I'm not defending Bronco Russ. I haven't for the last few years. But to say he sucked just isn't true. It's not true.
I would argue
It's
And
ba-
I
it-
am
it's-
and I am arguing,
and I'm
arguing that you can be on a team so fucking good that you can suck and seem great. Guess what? Ken Dorsey was a fucking bad quarterback, probably at every level he ever played at. But my God, didn't he look fucking great in Miami? Russell Wilson, at no point in his NFL career, gets rid of the ball at an average pace. At an average pace. So now, anytime you ever put him, I mean, this is what is so infuriating about the last 10 years of my existence. Look at Russell Wilson on the Giants. Look at Russell Wilson on the Broncos. And then look at people. Look at the delusion of people that had the audacity to watch their team win only one Super Bowl when they had fucking great defenses and a crazy good running back. And they would have the audacity. I am not joking. If you ever said the Seattle Seahawks had a bad offensive line, you should fucking kill yourself. They didn't. Russell Wilson makes offensive lines seem terrible because he refuses to get rid of the ball. Refuses. We're at the point now where like coaching him must be like, what is the issue? Can you count to 3? 1, 2, 3. If you still have the ball, you suck. There are worse quarterbacks. I'll just say it. There are worse physical quarterbacks in the NFL than Russell Wilson who have learned to be better than Russell Wilson. We can talk about the end of the fucking Lions game yesterday, and we can talk about how Jared Goff has played over his career. And we can talk about Jared Goff is better than Russell Wilson because at least he learned what he can and can't do and therefore gets rid of the ball. He's not more mobile, but he gets rid of the fucking football. He doesn't know where the sun rises and sets, but he has been able to learn to get rid of the football. Russell Wilson is in year 13. He's the guy with 45 DUIs that the judge is like, you have to live under the bar.
But again, it's like, I'm not going to argue about getting rid of the ball. I just think you're trapped in this moment of just like how bad he is right now, how bad he's playing, how bad yesterday was.
And how bad he's been since what? Since when?
But I mean, you can pull it up. It's like those Seahawks teams didn't. They
Those
had
Seahawks team had top 5 defenses and an elite running game. The end.
But that's
people are critical of Lamar Jackson, who puts up stats that fucking shit on Russell Wilson.
They had
that won multiple MVPs.
They had top 5 defense his first like 4 or 5 years, and then after that they didn't though.
Right. And
they were
done this. Hold on. They competed for Super Bowls in the first 4 or 5 years, and then they didn't.
We've done this a million times.
And
it's
then
like
they didn't.
Well, I mean, Joe, there's a stretch there where they're still winning 10, 11, 12 games 3 straight years. It's like he's not sucking those 3 years when I have it right in front of me.
I would argue he is sucking.
He's not sucking when the defenses are ranked 22nd, 15th. It's like they're still winning their division.
And then they're losing to fucking backup quarterbacks on the Rams in home playoff games.
But like the notion, the notion that he sucked is it's just a bad take, man.
Okay.
You're saying he's always sucked.
Correct.
Like that's a terrible take. That's an awful take.
Okay, cool. Ken Dorsey just like wasn't on the right team in the NFL.
Joe, Ken fucking Dorsey was never a borderline Hall of Fame guy at any point in his career. Like, what are we talking about here?
My point is Russell Wilson, when he's not carried, fucking stinks and has.
And my counter is statistically on teams he's winning 11, 12 games, that doesn't stink, dude. When you're tops in the league in touchdown passes, that's all I'm saying. Tops in the league in yards, in efficiency, winning your division on a team that has a 15th ranked defense or a 22nd ranked defense. That's all I'm saying.
And yet weirdly, You don't do this for Kirk Cousins. Weirdly, you don't do this for Jared Goff.
I've never said
everybody's a fucking.
I've never said those guys suck.
I've
never said they suck.
Everybody's a
huge
medium.
distinction.
Everybody's a medium pizza, except for Russell Wilson, who's a Hall of Famer, except when he doesn't have a Hall of Fame defense and a Hall of Fame running back. Russell Wilson is mediocre as fuck. Russell Wilson is not better than Kirk Cousins. It was not
you're already changing it. Hold on. So you're already
better
moving.
than any of these other fucking medium pizzas. He was carried Geno Smith. Look at Geno Smith everywhere he's going now. He's great. Yeah, he's going everywhere. Pete Carroll's going everywhere. But Bo Nix is I don't know. Bo Nix might win the AFC West. What's the difference between this Broncos team everybody thinks is suddenly going to be upend the Kansas City Chiefs and the one that where Russell Wilson couldn't play football for?
You're already moving it though. You already call him mediocre. Fine, I don't care. You already went from suck to mediocre. I've never said
what I don't give a fuck if you suck or you're mediocre. I don't want you as my quarterback. The guy holds the ball longer than guys who are out of the NFL at this point.
He's fine,
a bad fucking quarterback.
My point is, I've never said once that Kirk Cousins sucks. I've never said that Jared Goff sucks. Dude, when I think suck, like that's a different level of you're just not a good quarterback. Jameis Winston sucks.
Yeah, guess what? Russell Wilson sucks when he's not being fucking overly, when he's not a princess with 6 guys carrying the fucking thing. And then he was a fucking medium pizza. And even then he was a fucking medium pizza. Now when he's not just absolutely getting carried by Hall of Fame coaches and Hall of Fame defenses and Hall of Fame running backs, he straight sucks. Get Russell Wilson the fuck out of the NFL. I'm so sick. The things I could do, balance my fucking taxes when he takes the snap to when he gets rid of the ball. You're in year 13 of your career. You like getting hit? I've never seen anybody that just refuses to throw the ball. Just throw the ball, dude.
I mean, look, we clearly disagree as far as different levels of his career and at certain points. I think yesterday was just look. Obviously, I had the Giants in my pick 7. I had the Giants to cover until 35 seconds of that football game. And I was like, here we fucking go. This is my fucking life now. 49 yards of offense every first half for the next 17 fucking weeks because the guy refuses to get rid of the fucking ball. It's bro, you could say, oh, he didn't suck. It's like, I'd just love to see the under 70-yard first halves that Russell Wilson's had in his career. You think he's at 100? Think he's at 100? Let's put it in the chat GPT. He's probably not going to start this week.
God, dude, I'd rather see Jameis with 2 crabs as hands.
I mean, Dable's fighting for Dable knows his job is on the line.
Good. Honestly, guess what? Fire Dable week 3 if you start Russell Wilson again. Because guess what? Russell Wilson fucking stinks. And here's the thing about the Giants. Here's the fucking thing about the Giants. The Giants aren't a great football team. No one thinks the Giants are going to be competitive for making the Super Bowl this year. But you're embarrassing yourself. You talk about what we were saying with the Bengals or with any of these teams. Dude, you can't even script plays where you get the ball fast. You've practiced the plays that you're running on the first offensive drive 75 consecutive days. You ran the same first offensive drive, and you don't know where the ball is supposed to go? I'm not actually sure at this point, Russell Wilson, like the way he talks, unlimited. Is he literate?
I think you had somewhat high hopes for yesterday, and
I actually didn't have high hopes for yesterday. I was just the everything I've ever known about Russell Wilson was confirmed, but this time I didn't want it to happen. I was like, don't be Russ every time. And then I was like, what are you doing? I was like, Joe, what are you doing? You know exactly what this guy is and has been the whole, like, I'm mad at myself for thinking all of a sudden Russell Wilson wasn't going to hold the football like it's his fucking binky.
Well, you know that's his, like, that's always been his weakness, his kryptonite, so to speak.
It's
I'm saying, so why would you be surprised?
But it's beyond, it's to a point where it's like, it's to a point where you go, what is mentally wrong with you? What is mentally wrong with you? I've told this story 1,000 times on the fuck. Now, I was dealing with a high schooler, but I had a kid in high school who just could not sit back on a fastball and a curveball and whatever. It was just rollover ground ball to third base. And I was just like, if you don't hit the next ball into the opposing team's dugout, if you don't wait so long that you hit a foul ball, I'm benching you. And he was like, I go, that's it. That's the end of the story. You are getting benched for a worse player unless you hit the ball in the. And he still didn't do it, but he hit a triple down the right field line because he almost did it. Russell Wilson, get the ball out fast. I patently refuse. What was he, 17 for 40?
I mean, look, by the way, ChatGPT has some limitations. They don't do first half stats. Which is a bummer there. Because I don't think you just toss out numbers like 100.
How many games has Russell Wilson played in his career, you think? I mean, he started for 10 seasons of. I bet you he's played 100 and I bet you he started 185 football games, and I would bet you he's had less than 100 passing yards in the.
He started 200 officially, actually, on the dot.
You don't think you think he's thrown for over 100 yards in more than 50% of his first halves? No fucking way.
Okay, let me ask you this though. Let me, because now that and then we'll move into these other conversations.
And Giants fans. You should, like Giants fans who no one deserves this more than Giants. Like, you guys enjoyed Daniel Jones yesterday? Is that fun for y'all?
By the way, speaking of that, who called that game, or who said that you laughed at me about the Colts this year? You laughed at me.
I mean, I like, well, you said I think you even said the Colts defense, which, I mean. The Colts, you just get into a situation where you're like, first of all, great call, Andy. Okay, great call. I'll give you credit where credit's due. But you also get into a point here where you're like, how bad are the Dolphins going to be? I know it's week.
I agree.
I know we go week one overreactions. Again, let me just start. I haven't even started overreacting to week one yet because I've only so far been reacting to 13 years of Russell Wilson being fucking mediocre as fuck. This is the slowest underreaction of all time.
I think let's address a few of those things. That was actually a game I was like, oh, okay. Now again, my disdain for the organization that is called the Cincinnati Bengals, and I felt Lou Anarumo, who I felt was a pretty good DC overall. I thought he got the raw end of the deal. The Colts picked him up. I put it out to multiple Bengals fans. I said, okay, you guys all blame Lou? Let's see how he does in the Colts. Now it's 1 week, like you said. They looked great. Fresh start for Daniel Jones. I don't know. I've read, I don't know how much you've read. We haven't really talked about much the Colts QB situation. I've read a fair amount of things that said, like, once they went with Jones, it was just like it gave some sort of like, this is over to the offense. Like, we got our guy. whether he's going to be the guy or not.
This is over. Like we're glad we have settled on somebody, or this
Yeah,
is over,
we've settled
like,
on someone, and
Anthony
also
Richardson experiment is over,
and also that the Anthony Richardson could just be awful.
Anthony Richardson's also like 20 or something still, or 21.
No, for sure. But I'm saying he could just blow up a drive, blow up a play, just
Right.
terribly. I mean, look, the Dolphins have potential. Like, I don't know if you saw that 1-2 interception. You just go, what? Like, we've how many times have we said on this show? If you pay the wrong quarterback, you are destined to be bad for years as far as the rebuild.
Yeah, but you know what? Somebody is out there going, Tua's always sucked. Look at this 2022. He finished third in the MVP. He sucked. You're a liar. He sucked.
Yeah, I'm also not saying Tua sucks. I'm saying
Tua sucks. Tua fucking sucks, dude.
He's
Tua
not
fucking sucks.
He didn't play good yesterday. Like you said, one game. But if the Colts have a defense, and if they can run the ball, and if Daniel Jones, again, new situation, if he can limit his turnovers, we saw what happens when he limits his turnovers. He won a playoff game with your Giants.
Well, listen, if you're a Colts fan, forget Daniel Jones, forget your defense, forget everything. If you're ranking, why do I believe in the Colts? 1A and then 3 pages of blank before you get to 2 is we play in the AFC South.
Yeah.
We play in the AFC South. And what if Daniel Jones limits his turnovers? What if we run the ball? What if we play a little defense? We're playing in the dome. But first and foremost, not real worried that the Jags or the Texans run away with the division, let alone the fucking Titans, who, by the way, want to shift to the Titans. I mean, hung in there. Just feels like you could have used Mike Vrabel and Derrick Henry yesterday. That's if I was like, how we could really right the ship with the Titans really fast now that they have a young quarterback who didn't look great, didn't look terrible.
Week 1 in Denver's tough.
Didn't look great, but hung in there. I'd be like, man, if you just had a fucking running back to put this offense on their back and just carry a young quarterback so he didn't have to do everything, you'd be okay.
I'm gonna play a quick call in. We got a quick call from a Titans fan venting, and it's not our boy.
It's a reasonable Titans fan.
This is Thomas from Tennessee calling, your number 1 ranked pharmacist dirtball, and unfortunately a Tennessee Titans fan. That is not Alex from Kentucky. So the Titans lost today 20-12, and at one point during the game in the third quarter, Cam Ward had thrown a pass up the sideline to Alec Ayamaner. He catches the ball, elbow lands inbounds, and then rolls out of bounds. So since his elbow gets in bounds, it's a catch. Refs call it incomplete. Brian Callahan does not challenge the call, and game goes on. They lose. In his post-game press conference, somebody asked Coach Callahan about that play and why he didn't challenge it. And this dude goes on to say that despite getting his elbow landing in bounds, you have to get 2 feet in back. You have to get 2 feet inbounds in addition to that for it to be a catch. I think his exact quote was, "An elbow does not equal 2 feet."
Wow.
Which is, of course, wrong. So our bozo head coach does not know a basic rule that any casual fan would know. I genuinely cannot believe we went from Mike Vrabel rage-baiting Bill Belichick in a playoff game over a minuscule clock rule to this bozo. Anyway, that's all I got, boys. Stay dirty.
The frustration is real.
I'm only going to call. I know it's only week 1, but I'm going to call the Titans coach Bobby Callahan. Tommy Callahan. Tommy Callahan. They're like, Coach, why didn't you challenge that? He's like, well, you can get a good look up at Butcher's ass by sticking your head up there. No, wait. You can get a good look at a T-bone. You can get a good look at an elbow by sticking a T-bone up a bull's ass. Wait, fuck. How does this go? 2 feet you can get 2 feet up an elbow's ass. Fuck.
Let me just this is good. When you left this call, appreciate the call. Because you set me up perfectly to not only take a dig at Callahan, but also Zach Taylor, because this is the Zach Taylor coaching tree, right? The offensive minds that
Zach Taylor coaching tree
that we've mocked. He was the offensive coordinator under Zach Taylor. So let's look at yesterday combined, because I had to do it. So again, the Zach Taylor coaching tree, which now has produced Callahan as a head coach. The Titans and Bengals combined had 18 first downs and 274 total yards. I wonder, I wonder why these guys have jobs. Does it have something to do with number 9? Does it have something to do with Joe Burrow?
No, Andy. No, hold on. Zach Taylor's not good. Let's look at his career record. Look at him going to the Super Bowl. Look at him going to AFC Championship games. There's no context. We don't use context for anything. He's not good.
He's a mid-level coach.
A mid-level coach. What's his career? Let's look at his career record compared to other coaches.
It's under 500. His career record.
Okay.
So it's not good.
Takes over a team. Terrible first couple years. Immediately turns it around. Basically, Super Bowl appearances. 11 games here. 10 games there. 12 games here. He sucks.
I don't think he's a good coach. No.
I don't either. But then again, I use fucking context.
Yeah. I probably shouldn't say he sucks at times. They've done better. Again, I know you want to make this Russell Wilson analogy on me right now. He doesn't suck. Russell Wilson's never sucked, which I don't know why you keep trying to bring that into it.
Russell Wilson doesn't currently suck.
Oh,
Russell
he sucks now.
Suck
Yeah,
on the
sorry.
Broncos.
He's sucked the last few years.
I mean, if you go back to my thesis statement, Russell Wilson has always either sucked or been carried.
Well, again, I don't agree with.
And you could argue if you're a Bengals fan that Zach Taylor's always either sucked or been carried.
Well, I think that would create an interesting discussion on the importance of a coach versus the quarterback. Who's more important?
You got Zach Taylor on the same fucking little princess throne with 4 guys holding it underneath. And then he's talking to the GM and he's like, those guys, the 4 guys who are holding my thing, I don't care about the rest of this. Those 4 guys need to get paid. And they're like, well, they all play the same position. He's like, do I give a fuck? They're the guys who are fucking carrying my little throne through town. Yeah, but shouldn't we have like some guards up in the front with the fucking shields and the swords and stuff that are going to like fight? He's like, no. Yeah, but then I'd be on the ground. He's like, first things first. The 4 guys carrying me need to get paid.
I was surprised that the Titans hung in there. I had a little heat at home because I guess they have a survivor poll of Brittany's work, and she asked me, and I said, "Go Broncos." I said, "The rookie quarterback, they're at home." She's like, "Are they gonna lose?" Like, no, like just like peeping up at the TV, like, "They're gonna lose." I just kept fucking with her, being like, "Oh my God, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose." She's like, "If I'm out of my survivor pool, it's so embarrassing." Week 1, I was like,
I mean, it was 70% of the pool would have been gone because everybody picked them, and including me. And did I also pick? I don't know what the spread was, but But I picked the Titans.
It was the biggest spread of the week.
Half.
8.5.
So they did. So they covered. And what did I say?
No, they didn't cover. The
Titans covered.
Yeah, Titans covered.
And I said,
point.
I was like, I'm picking the Titans because I picked them in my suicide pool, and of course, I'll sweat it, which is exactly what happened. But also, the Joe Prano hot takes that are not that hot because they've been sitting on the counter for so long that they're now not only cold, they've gone rotten. Like, I get, and I've talked about this in the NBA. I've met, spoken to personally, interviewed, been around. Doc Rivers is a great guy. Doc Rivers is a great fucking dude. I would love to hang out with Doc Rivers. He's a great guy. He's a fucking bad to mediocre basketball coach. Sean Payton must have that relationship with everybody. Every single person that I spent time with the Broncos this year, and Sean Payton loves him some bonus. If you're like an outside, you're like a little outside shot for the Super Bowl. You're like a little secret weapon. You're like a little secret AFC West winner. Don't sleep on the Broncos. Sean Payton has been overrated for every single second that he's been a coach in the NFL.
It's a pretty long career, right? When did he take over the Saints? 2006?
Probably, yeah.
All right. I want to ask you something. So I'm going through, I'm looking at week 1. Who had the biggest statement win?
Well,
who had it?
I think, okay.
Is it the Chargers or is it the Packers? It's got to be either one of them, right? Or is it the Bills?
I was going to say, those are the 3 options. The Chargers, the Packers, or the Bills. Chargers game. I'm gonna break it down pretty quickly. The Chargers Chiefs game was a Friday in Brazil. What, like, just throw your papers up in the air and just go, if I can, I think the only thing to take away from that game, and I called it, and I picked the Chargers to win the division, and I called that game, and it was my money line pick of the week, and
good pick.
So I saw it coming, but I think the only if I wanted to be a reasonable Chargers fan, I would say the takeaway from that game is we didn't go to Brazil on a Friday in week 1 against the, most consistent franchise in the NFL over the last 10 years and get our fucking asses kicked. That's the takeaway. We're ready to, all the things that we went through and blah, 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 and the end of last season and Harbaugh and Herbert, weapons, and losing losing our best offensive lineman. We didn't get our ass kicked. That's the statement for the Chargers. The Packers, it's even when Nate Craig's on, first and foremost, they're thinking about the Lions. They're thinking, if we're going to win the division, we have to beat the Lions. So to me, that's already more of a statement game. But also, again, week 1, home game. But Love looked good.
They stomped them too.
What's that?
They stomped the Lions.
Right. Defense looked good. They stomped them. So I have that above the Chargers. I might honestly say, though, that the real game was Bills-Ravens, simply because it feels like when you watch those two offenses last night, you watch those two teams, you want to make like bold, you want to have like week 1 overreactions. Is that the AFC Championship game? If you were going to do week 1 overreaction, you go, how is it not the AFC Championship game? Now, counterpoint, the Chiefs exist.
Patrick Mahomes, yes.
And they're in the AFC Championship game every year. But you look at the way those offenses played, obviously even compared to the Chiefs, mean, it looks like those two teams are like, oh man, was that the best football game because it was one of those week 1 matchups where they decided they're going to have some marquee teams going against each other, which we've seen in college football a lot over the last, I don't know, 10 or 15 years, which college football has gotten bigger on doing. They're like, no more of this. Alabama starts with, the University of the Pacific and wins 75-0. Like, play a number 7 team and then you can go on to your cupcake schedule before you go on to the SEC games. They make these big time college football teams play a game week 1. And I mean, look at, again, I don't watch college football, but like, people were like, well, the Arch Manning thing was fun. He played the number 2 team in the country like the first week. And now I'm sure they're going to win 10 straight games and then they'll, whatever. But to me, it's like the Bills winning that game when they were down with 2 scores with 4 minutes
15,
to go.
Yeah.
You just go, to me, the biggest statement is like, you're never safe against this Bills team. Well, as long as Josh Allen is healthy, they're the Chiefs from a few years ago. They're the Chiefs with Tyreek, where it's like, there's not a number where you're really safe. And that to me is like, the Ravens are really good. And the Ravens, in a way, it was almost a statement game for the Ravens as well. But biggest takeaway from the week is like, first of all, as a guy who predicted Bills Packers as the Super Bowl and the Chargers to win the division, you putting like us saying those 3 teams, I'm like, yeah, like, no wrong answers. But to me, it's like, I can't think of a team right now that I would favor over the Bills, home or away.
Interesting. So I would go with the Packers personally. I know it was an amazing comeback. I just feel part of it for me is like, it's a week 1. I'm actually not worried. I know a lot of people are like, dude, how devastating is this for the Ravens? I just think,
yeah, I don't think so at all.
I look, it's a terrible loss. It's a huge, it's like psychologically, it's going to sting for a little bit, but that offense, you saw it. And now it's Zay Flowers. Like, now you got some weapons, and obviously they had him last year and he made the Pro Bowl last year. And Hopkins made that hell of a touchdown catch. It's like, old savvy vet. Henry is just not aging. I don't know what he's taking. Did he take some of Tom Brady's child blood? Like, it's amazing the way he runs at 31. And Lamar looks great. Now their defense was real rough last year too for a while. And then it got better the last half of the season. But you're right. Look, Josh Allen, those guys are tough. For me, let me just take it through you, because I'm only going to talk about the games that are even questionable. So it'll be like a week 7 or a week 8. Bills home game against the Chiefs. Bills will be favored. Bills road game week 11 or 12 against the Steelers. Bills will probably be favored. Yeah.
And then Bills home game week 16. I mean, they could have it wrapped up by then, but Bills home game week 16 against the Eagles. I don't think the Bills will be an underdog in any football game this year.
They play the Bengals too. The Bengals have played well.
I think they play the Bengals at home, right?
They do, but I'm just looking at teams that who fared well against them.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I don't think they'll be an underdog in any game they play.
They were an underdog yesterday, ironically.
Right.
1.5. Look, if the Ravens, and both teams obviously had some serious holes in the defense yesterday, I still think, I know people are going to think I'm crazy. I think top to bottom, as far as roster wise, the Ravens are still better. I mean, that's just at a certain point. I've seen a lot of stuff, and I don't know. I follow it, but I'm not obviously a Ravens like diehard. I know some of their fan base is starting to Harbaugh blows games. Harbaugh takes the foot off the gas. Now look, turnovers are huge. And that's why they lost last year to the Bills. And Derrick Henry, for as great as he played yesterday, had a critical fumble. I do want to say this about Bills fans. I'm glad what Lamar Jackson did here, because you don't reach out and hit a fucking player, you idiots. This is unbelievable.
By the fence, fan hits him up on the head and then hits Lamar Jackson. And after that fan, it wasn't celebrating at all, hit him, Jackson pushes the.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too. The whole thing that, they were talking throughout the game last night after that happened, like, we'll have to see what happens with the league. We'll have to see how they handle this. We'll have to see what needs to be handled. I don't even think to me, if someone's physically like if someone's in the process of assaulting you, right? Is it even like, I don't even think that you could. I don't know the legal thing, but I don't even know if you're like self-defense. I don't even know if you need a self-defense claim if you're pushing someone as they push you. Like, that's not even a reaction. That's just you.
Also, that fan should be thrown out of the game. I don't know if the fan was. Like,
I think the fan should not be allowed at Bills games anymore.
Like you're reaching out to a player walking by you.
But and the thing with the Hopkins, with like you're smacking the guy's helmet or whatever,
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's also dumb and crossing the line. But like, you shoved Lamar Jackson.
You shoved him.
I think that there should be. Listen, I think that there should be rules with this stuff where it's like that. Not either. I think in that situation, Lamar Jackson should be able to choose. He's ejected or trial by combat. Okay. Come on the field. All right. We have a set of pads that's hanging around. You can put these on, and now we fight.
We joust. We duel.
Yeah. Or just, you can wear these pads as a safety thing, but I'm going to pick you up and I'm going to throw you to the ground, and then you're going to get dragged out of here by your fucking security. Because you're a fucking kid. You're a drunk kid. Yeah, and it's embarrassing. And listen, we've now reached, I mean, you saw the Philly Karen in Florida.
Oh, of course.
I don't even want to get into what, because there's both people were Phillies fans. The world's most behaved Phillies fan was that dad. But I don't even want to know what kind of mental illness has to occur, what kind of long family trauma needs to happen for you to be a Philadelphia Phillies fan living in Florida. I don't even want to know. I don't want to know what kind of horrible things have gone on in your family in terms of physical abuse, sexual abuse, fucked up, gene pool, mental illness, whatever, to be a Florida-based Phillies fan. But we're at a point now where just like, and it goes back to something I said on this show a couple weeks ago, the main character syndrome. Main character syndrome is perhaps one of the most disruptive parts of our society right now. You stop. You're at a football game. You're not the show. You're not the, like, stop trying to participate at all. You are an NPC or an NCP, whatever it is, a non-controlled play. Well, I don't even know what the fucking term means, but like when you're in Madden, they don't spend a lot of time making you're just a blob that sits in the crowd. Your job is to go there, drink beer, not participate.
Yeah, just be a voyeur. Just watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad he went at him.
And I would hope that nothing happens to him, and I really hope this
He'll
doesn't
get fined.
Yeah, but I really hope this doesn't get policed to the point where there's it hit him. Cool. Listen, the dude will literally take a shit today that costs more than $5,000. Like if this is a 4-figure fine.
So going back to my question, I still think it's the Packers because division and how they won. Like it wasn't really a game ever. And they dominated both sides of the ball. I agree with you. The Chargers win. It's kind of all bets are off. We're in Brazil. Even though the Chargers pretty much had control of that whole game, Mahomes still did Mahomes things. It's funny. It's like people need to be reminded on some of those plays of what he can do. But Herbert looked great. Herbert looked really good. But watch out, man, for the Packers if they can play like that, and if Jordan Love can play like that. I think they play. I already looked ahead. I was looking at week 2. I think they play Washington next week on a Thursday night, so that should be a fun one. I don't know where that's at, but I just think Micah Parsons is only going to get better. He played about half the snaps. And I don't think that's a week 1 overreaction.
Is there a week 1 overreaction to the Lions?
No, I think they have enough talent. They'll be fine. But you and I talked about it in the previous show. It's like that window is tiny, man.
Well, also the window's tiny. Not only is the window tiny, and I think there are some people. I don't want to overrate. I think people often. I don't think you can overvalue saying like, oh, the offensive coordinator. Like, obviously, Ben Johnson was a great offensive coordinator. They put something together, but like, I think it's a combo. You lost both coordinators, okay, and the other thing is, you lost your offensive coordinator for a quarterback that has looked great the last couple of years under that offensive coordinator. Who, if you use context. And you take out just like being a fantasy football guy who says everywhere Jared Goff goes, they win 12 games and he throws for 4,000 yards. Okay, but when push comes to shove, how many times when you get to, and again, this isn't to go back to the Russell Wilson thing, but it is to go back to the Russell Wilson thing a little bit. It's like all of this is all well and good. Except the name of the game is win the Super Bowl, and at some point, you're only going to be playing playoff teams every single week. And that is when you make the playoffs. You make the playoffs, and then you're going to have to play playoff teams every single week. Playoff quality teams every single week. Jared Goff had a terrible pick. He had a terrible pick yesterday, and then he had, Jared Goff throughout his career has been don't throw the ball. Like the kid gloves have always been just only throw the ball if a guy's open. And if we're going to start doing the tight window thing, the last couple of years, he's been a little bit better at making some real good throws into tight spaces. But now we've lost your offense coordinator, and all of a sudden it's, do we have to go Jared Goff only schemed wide open plays again?
Well, look, like I said, they have so much talent on that side of the ball. I think they will. They'll be fine. I'm not saying they're gonna win. I don't know what they won last year, 14, 15 games. No, they clearly already lost one. But yeah, we'll see how it plays without Ben Johnson. Aaron Glenn's gone. He's in Jetsville, already doing Jets things. Welcome. That was a fun game, though. Like I said, I alluded to it earlier. I enjoyed that game. I thought both QBs looked overall pretty good. The Most Jets loss ever. 60-yard field goal. I think Aaron Rodgers surprised people. I think he overall played pretty well. He can't take that many hits though. He got sacked too many times. I think it was 3 or 4.
And
That's
that was, and look, there was a second yesterday. I was like, oh no, is Aaron Rodgers gonna be really good this year? And I'm not joking. I was just like, they were like, he's just thrown for his 4th TD pass. Like, it wasn't a game I was watching like consistently, but I was checking in on, and I had some red zone on one screen and whatever. So it's like, they're like, oh, he just threw his 4th touchdown, no interception. And I was like, and then I go, it is week 1 against the Jets.
It is week 1. That's what I'm saying. But I do think he'll be better than people anticipated. To me, just from a visual, he looked healthier, for lack of a better term.
And that was another thing that
right, because last year it's like that's
another thing that I went through a process where I was like, oh, he looks better, and I go, well, he has been resting for the entire summer. Next week he'll play on 6 days rest.
Yeah. So I mean again, like I'm not doing a week 1 overreaction on a 60-yard field goal win over the Jets. Also the Steelers defense looked terrible. I mean, Justin Fields and Hall were like, that offense was moving up and down. Pittsburgh's in serious trouble if the defense doesn't get better. They're in serious trouble.
Because they're in a division where
you got 2 quarterbacks who can light it up. So, which, I texted you this. Speaking of that division, it's already turned into the wacky wild Yoshi coming in town for the Steelers.
Oh yeah. You said that.
So I'll share this with you guys. So Yoshi texted me about he wants to see Aaron Rodgers play. And I don't know why he's chosen. He's like, I just want to see him play before he retires. He's like, you live in Cincinnati still, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I'm thinking about flying in for the Bengals Steelers Thursday night football game. And I was like, yeah, you can stay here, man. I got 2 little girls, which is a whole thing. Obviously, am I telling Brittany Yoshi's entire history? No. Not that I don't know.
Where would you even start?
Yeah, it's like that's the thing. I was like, not that she's not uptight. She's not like a prude, but I'm like, I don't know. Do you where do you even go there? Oh, he used to work at a porn shop. He used to edit porn. He has scientific experiments on his body. He almost killed a homeless guy with his car in Venice. Like,
he's not allowed back in Japan because he tried to murder his mother-in-law.
Yeah, like I don't even know where to start. So,
or his stepmom.
Yeah, stepmom. So anyway,
he once ran over a homeless person. Yeah, he said that.
Yeah, it's like, and we're leaving a lot out. So anyway, I was like, yeah, Yoshi.
And he's going to be in town because he's also going to visit a famous murder of a porn star site while he's here.
I have a feeling we're visiting somewhere where Jerry Springer did something.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the street where he got popped and arrested for soliciting a prostitute when he was the mayor. Something like that, I assume. So anyway, Yoshi was like, I was like, yeah, you can stay. He's like, I'll fly in the night before, go to the game, fly out the next morning. I said, cool. So he's like, oh, I found a ticket if I fly in Thursday morning for the Thursday game and I'll fly out Friday. I said, cool. And Yoshi texts me back. He's like, how far are you from the airport? I said, I'm not that close. I'm like 25 minutes.
Because it's in Kentucky.
Exactly. So he's like,
I live in Ohio.
He's like,
because you're gonna stay with me in Ohio and go to the game in Ohio, but the airport's in a different state.
he goes, okay, I'll just take public transportation to your house. And I'm like, and I'm thinking again, here, I actually thought of the conversations you and I have had in the past about Yoshi. It's like, bro, why do you gotta make it so hard? There are Ubers, there are Lyfts. Like, why does this have?
Oh yeah.
Why does this have to be so hard? And I said, Yoshi, public transport, like, it's one of those airports, where it's like, it's out in the middle of nowhere. There's no public transportation. I'm sure there's something, a bus, but it's like, it's not like a big.
I'm sure there's something that will get him from the airport to downtown Cincinnati. But then what?
Exactly.
How do you get from downtown Cincinnati to just like your random suburb? Like, like, is there?
That's a good point.
How would one do that?
A
If they wanted to
bus.
get to a bus,
But
and then
how
that
many,
would stop.
how many stops?
Right.
I mean, like, who knows what his day is going to be? So I said, dude, why don't I take my kids to daycare? If you can just hang out at the airport, even if it's a couple hours. He's like, oh, that's easy. Because you know what he had planned on doing? He's so psycho. He didn't want to over welcome his stay. He told me you
That's
can
not a phrase, so I probably wouldn't.
overstay is welcome.
His stay.
Overstay is welcome. There's a Rutherism for you. You know what he said he was going to do? He goes, if you could take me to the airport.
By the way, the 14 seconds that Russell Wilson holds onto the ball, I'm just going to now say that the ball is over welcoming and stay in Russell Wilson's hands. Russell Wilson once again over welcoming his stay in the pocket, sacked again.
He was like, I'm going to fly out Friday morning. If you could just take me to the airport after the game, I'll just sleep in the airport all Thursday night. And I said, what? I was like, dude, you're allowed to come back to my house and sleep in a bed. Like, you're just going to sleep at the airport for 8 hours? So it looks like I'm going to end up at a Bengals game for.
Oh, Steelers Bengals.
Well, I mean, what am I going to do? Like Yoshi's going to go by himself, and I'm just going to stay at home.
And you'll have to drop him off and pick him up, like he's going to soccer practice. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, I'm going.
That was a game, honey. Get in.
Oh, he's an odd bird, isn't he?
The oddest bird. But that is, to be fair, that is also because he has had his bird brain hooked up to many an electrical.
He has feathers at this point
to fucking have his brain studied.
Yeah, I totally agree. So yeah, so there'll be that. And again, to bring it back to the games, I don't think from the Steelers, I'd be worried about your defense. You knew the offense was going to get better. It couldn't get worse.
Yeah. Now let's go Jet side.
I liked what I saw I'm being serious. I liked what I saw out of Justin Fields. You know, here's the thing at this point of his career. They went 4-2 with him last year, the Steelers. They didn't ask him to do much.
Yeah.
Because at that point, the defense was playing good. I don't know if you watched the last play where they had the ball. I was shocked he didn't run it there.
Yeah.
Where Wilson got lit up by Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
I thought he could have made it with his legs, but I think now it's in his head, which is probably good to get rid of the ball and don't run. I just thought that was a moment. You do use your legs here, man.
Well, I got to shout out our boy Kyle Aronofsky for a minute, because he was very upset at me when I criticized the Jets for giving him the money they gave him, and his excuse was, oh, you weren't this critical of Daniel Jones. I just want to say, you might feel vindicated here today, Kyle, but also know that you could have had Daniel Jones for $0. So there's that. The Colts had a player put up basically the exact same game, probably a little bit better, and I think he might be paying to play there. I think Daniel Jones did have to buy the Jim Irsay guitar yesterday to be allowed into the locker room. So, value and all.
So you think the Jets are just going to be terrible again?
Do I think the Jets are going to be terrible again? I don't think they'll be terrible, but I also don't I'm not taking too much, in the week one overreactions, I'm not taking too much into, the Raiders won on the road at
New England.
New England's not going to be I think you have Vrabel. And so to me, it's like, maybe the Jets will be better than the Dolphins.
Well, I mean, you bring up a great point. I was just thinking about like that division. Like, are the Bills just going to just beat the shit out of everybody? Dolphins look terrible. Jets actually looked a little better. New England, I forget how many times. To me, it's just not a recipe. It's how the game played out, but let's pull it up. I think he threw. I mean, Drake May can't throw the ball 46 times a game, dude.
Right.
18 rushes for 60 yards. You know, as I'm watching that game now, that was a weird game. Now, neither team could rush the ball. There was 8 combined sacks, 4 on each side. It's like they were getting after the QBs.
So let me ask something. Next week, currently, the Bills are -6.5 against the Jets in MetLife.
I'm taking the Bills.
I mean, the
Steelers just put up 30-something points on them.
And they just put up 40 on the Ravens.
Now,
So,
division game does mean
Sure.
something.
but I think the Jets. I think it's a double-digit Bills win. So let me ask something about the Bills. You have Bills at Jets. You have Dolphins at Bills. You have Saints at Bills. You have Patriots at Bills. You have
Jesus.
Bills at Falcons. You have Bills at Panthers. And then you get a game against the Chiefs.
We have one loss. Most.
Oh, no. I
think no?
I disagree. What I was going to ask is how many of those games is a 7-point or less game? I'll say there's one of those. I think they play one 7-point game before they play the
Well, it's any given Sunday. It's like, who knows what happens
know.
down in Atlanta or something
Sure.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably sounds about right. Like I said, I it's tough to win every week, so I'll maybe have a little more faith in some of those teams that, hey, maybe the Bills walk into that. I don't know what week that would have been, like 6-1 or whatever it is. They're gonna be tough. I mean, look, for me, nothing changes. Probably the same for you. Nothing changes. My 3 teams to beat in the AFC are still going to be the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens. Nothing changes for me. Even though the Chargers look nice. And they did. Nothing changes. Look, a win's a win, but we all know quarterback, coach, defense come playoff time. And I think, obviously, they just given their history, I would assume Buffalo and Baltimore would sure up those defenses. But I'll tell you what, man, if the Ravens can run. But you know what was interesting? I don't know if you heard, because you don't listen to the game. I don't know if it was Collinsworth. It's probably.
Well, I was listening to that one.
Well, did he make the point, or was it Tirico? Regardless, somebody made the point of like, the running game is great for your defense, but they've been scoring so quickly that the Ravens defense just wasn't getting breaks, because it's like Derrick Henry rushes the ball 3 times and he's in the end zone.
Yeah.
It was like they didn't have much of a break because they were scoring at will.
Yeah. It's still there's still a mental and physical toll that the ball getting run down your throat takes on you. Not only a mental toll of we can't stop their run, but physically, when you're scoring at will by running the ball, you are going into the defense as opposed to the defensive line coming into a pass protection. You're initiating an attack on the defense, and I think, the Ravens are going to abuse some teams like that. The Derrick Henry thing, it's fascinating and not fascinating simultaneously when you consider that he's 31. Yes, at the running back position, it's not typical, but at the same time, like, he is different than your quote unquote typical running back. And we've seen plenty of athletes that ends up being like their peak is like 31. Like we've seen athletes peak at 31. Now, obviously not typically a running back. He's just one of one in that he's such a punishing running back, but he also runs away from people.
It's insane.
It's crazy. And listen, this is why the Titans are a fucking clown organization. But it's like, it's not like he fell off. I understand you being like, we are not going to be good enough to make use of him, so why pay him, which is obviously what the Giants did with Saquon. But it's a different situation when Saquon didn't, like, Derrick Henry has been consistent his whole career. Saquon Barkley has not, for injuries and all these other reasons. But Derrick Henry, week in and week out, since the guy came into the league, is just one of the best running backs in football. And through that time, it's like, oh, McCaffrey, Barkley, Todd Gurley, this guy, that guy. And Derrick Henry's been there the whole time.
I know. I mean, that's what's crazy. It's like I'm looking at his numbers. He really hasn't fallen off. And he didn't, when Baltimore paid him, it wasn't like a massive payday.
No,
because he had already made his quote unquote big contract. Now they threw more money at him again this year.
Yeah,
basically, which is what good organizations do. Hey man, you almost rushed for 2,000 yards last year. Here's some more money. You earned it as an employee. No, I agree. It's like I don't, having a safety net as a young QB, nothing better than a reliable running back.
And also, I'm sure there are people out there, Ravens fans, or just like the people that you hear from all the time, the Lamar Jackson defenders, whatever, who will be like, what kind of fucking passing yards and passing? The Ravens are always going to be better if they're a run first team with Lamar Jackson.
But like, who didn't see this? I mean, you and I talked about it. When everybody with any common sense, when the Ravens signed Derrick Henry before last season, everybody goes, "Oh, that's a perfect fit." Everybody goes, "Oh, it's Derrick Henry on a like you're saying, a run first team that puts a lot of value in defense with a quarterback who is mobile. Oh, this is perfect fit." Meanwhile, Tennessee is just going to be awful again. I like those teams, though. It doesn't change. Again, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens for me. I mean, it can change.
All right, here you go. I'm going to give you 4 AFC championship game matchups. Rank them. Chiefs, Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Ravens, any one of those teams and the field.
I'm going to go Chiefs, Ravens.
Chiefs, Ravens.
Yeah.
As one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Chiefs, Bills, 2.
Bills, Ravens, 3.
Bills, Ravens, 3.
And then the field, 4.
Mm-hmm. I just think again, playoff football is different in these the Spagnuolas of the world figured the shit out to at least control the Josh Allens and Lamar Jacksons of the world. Like, I just think it's different. What people forget, I think, is that the Chiefs always got.
I'm just so you know, I'm going Bills, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens.
Maybe I'm putting
Chiefs
too much
fake.
stock. I don't know. I was watching that game last night and I was like, oh my God, this offense on the Ravens. And I think they'll figure out their D. I know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being biased. The speed for me is like next level. I don't know. I just felt again with you get Zay Flowers having 130 yards and Derrick Henry speed and Lamar Jackson. I just felt like God, if they get the speed and you still have a game changer.
It's crazy that year in and year out now. I mean, remember last year was the toe tap.
Yeah, that's right. But that's what I'm saying. You see a lot of chirping from Ravens fans as far as Harbaugh can't close it out. Now, he didn't fumble the ball, and he didn't fumble in the playoffs. But, like, I don't know. I'd have to, and I'm not going to do it, but I have to almost rewatch last night's game of, they get conservative when they get up big. But I'm like, but they already run the ball. So, like.
Yeah, also, and this is important. You could say, oh, well, the Belichicks of the world or the Tom Coughlins or these like guys who are, have these of like going into a very specific kind of mode, like guys that didn't blow playoff games or like whatever. But a lot of coaches, like if you're just going to blanket trouble closing, who has trouble closing games? People who play the Chiefs and the Bills in the last 5 years.
It's true.
That's who has trouble closing games.
I just think.
So is that more about the other team's offense, or is it more about your defense? I don't think that. I would love to see that. I would love to see the history of the Ravens blowing late games against the Browns.
I see what you're saying. It's just, again, I'd have to review it, and I won't. But, like, for example, I'm watching that Texans-Rams game, and it got to the point where, if the Texans stop them here, the Rams get the ball back. And it was third down. And it's classic McVay. They run it the first 2 downs. They make the Texans burn their timeouts. And I believe it was a rollout or play action, whatever it was with Matthew Stafford. I don't know. I forget if it was Nakua who we found. But my point was, he said, fuck it, dude. I'm putting on my QB, who just crossed 60,000 yards, by the way, that game for his career. And I'm not going to be conservative, even though my defense has only given up 3 field goals. I'm going to trust my Hall of Fame QB, and we're going to win this. I don't know if the Ravens are doing that, but you're right. You make a good point. How many of these games are against those 2 teams? Which, by the way, shout out to Matthew Stafford on that.
Let me ask something.
60,000 is a big number.
I want to. We started off with my Russell Wilson hate. I'm going to circle back to it for a second.
Yeah,
this isn't going to be an argument. I'll just let your answer be your answer, and we can move on because we have a slight time crunch today. Has Matthew Stafford, for every second that they have shared in the league, been a better quarterback than Russell Wilson? Has he, for every second that they have been in the league together, been a better quarterback?
Yeah, for sure. And I've evolved in that.
Okay.
I would disagree 6-7 years ago.
Great. Okay.
I think he's a really good quarterback. I think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, in my opinion. I know people want to argue the numbers, and I don't know. Just it's tough to get to 60,000 yards, and he's still doing it.
It's also just tough to be on the Lions.
Yeah. I do think a lot more people are appreciating him, though, ever since he left. I do think for the most part, since he came to the Rams, there has been it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they're like, look how he performs with this woman he lives with.
Yeah.
She doesn't shut up. She's on podcasts.
And honestly, I think that's something that I think we have to have the same sort of appreciation for what Ciara does on stage when you consider what's going on at home.
I don't remember what we picked, by the way. I think our boy Matt, Dirtball Matt, I think he said he's going to put it together. He did it last year. I don't remember what you and I had.
For what? For tonight's game?
Just no, for you and I picking against each other.
Oh, okay.
You know, my pick 7, I was 3 of 7. Tough week. What I got to do is I got to actually start going back on Dirty Sports. I don't know why I don't, because I'm usually more accurate there than I just forget and then I make my picks.
Yeah, you need that. You need that blink. You need that first. You know, don't think about it too hard.
By the way, that pot, they ended up hitting 900, and a lot of dirt balls reached out to me a lot. They ended up getting 928 entries. The pot is 231 grand.
Wow.
So overall, I'm looking at it right now. Overall, again, you might not get all 7 any week. It doesn't matter. Overall, if you get the most overall picks this year, $18,700. Second, $12,500. Even if you're 10th place, $1,879.
Wow.
That's why everybody loves the NFL, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there anything else from week 1 that stood out for you in particular? Any of these games, any of these teams?
I'm trying to think if we missed anything.
Like overreactions, underreactions.
I'm not a big week 1 overreactor, but I do like playing the overreaction game. Like, hey, just if I was going to overreact, then I would overreact to this. But let me.
I want to say something. Actually. We'll go back to Thursday's game.
Okay.
I'm becoming more of a Jalen Hurts fan.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, as it goes on. And again, it's to me, it's the point, and I've said this before about Jalen Hurts. It's not about putting him in my top 5. I just think he makes plays when he has to, and for the most part, he really does fit that system. And he's got an MVP. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, he's got a Super Bowl MVP. And I do think, and I don't know if that includes people like you, I do think he doesn't get enough respect. And I'm watching that game, and it's like, you guys can knock him, and I know he's not slinging the ball downfield, but it's like, dude, when he makes plays with his legs, you just can't argue that. Third down plays, whatever it is, it's like he makes the fucking plays.
I would argue my my Jalen Hurts take is in line with all my other thing. Is like I'm always trying to evaluate quarterbacks when you consider the context of with which they play in, and so therefore, if I'm judging this quarterback over that quarterback, whatever, you cannot argue. Listen, could I argue that there's that the idea of like, oh, and he fits the system? Could I argue that there are 8 quarterbacks who you could drop in there and maybe be better? I could argue that.
Yeah.
But that's not how the league works. And there is no argument against the Eagles can win with Jalen Hurts. They did win with Jalen Hurts. What's amazing about seeing the Eagles fans is like I'm a Giants fan and I'm an Eli stan. And what's funny is, you know, you look at like the Barry McCuckeners, who is sort of just like the face of the attitude around sort of Eagles fans in general. For no joke, 20 years, I have been told your Super Bowl MVPs mean nothing. They are a team stat. And I'm just like, cool. Vehemently disagree. And I'm glad that Eagles fans are learning that was historically dumb. And that, yes, Jalen Hurts' value is in, you'd rather be the 15th best, have the 15th most passing yards in the league every year and a Super Bowl MVP than the first most passing yards in the league every year and no Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
The name of the game is game manager. Like I've said it before, I'll say it again. Game manager is not a diss. I can simultaneously think that Tom Brady has the greatest quarterbacking career in the history of the NFL. And I can believe that the Patriots would have won 10 Super Bowls if Peyton Manning was their quarterback. I can believe both those things, but that's hypothetical. What is reality is Jalen Hurts is doing just what the Eagles need him to do. Now, will we get to a point, because the NFL's tough and they might play this team in the NFC Championship game or this team in the Super Bowl, or they'll have to play in this weather, or they'll have to play this kind of defense, or they'll have to play this kind of offense? Will we get to a point where, what in my opinion is Jalen Hurts' passing limitations, get them knocked out of a run to defend their Super Bowl title? I don't know. Guess we'll see.
Yeah. And obviously, there are limitations, and we've said it at length. These guys who have to run long term, and that's real, without a doubt.
And also they're not running him. They're
really
scrambling
not.
more than he's designing. They're designing his runs.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely more scrambles. One team I'm curious. I know it's 1 week. I was surprised. I was like, man, maybe it's because I picked them to cover. I was like, Carolina really just laid an egg. I was like, God, I thought you could maybe do something. And then it's like, just because there's that division is going to be crap. It's like, where's Jacksonville end up now? Like, okay, you look good week 1 at home against Carolina.
The 4.5-hour lightning delay.
With a 4.5-hour lightning delay.
That game just wrapped this morning. So I was saving my hot Carolina Jacksonville take until the game ended this morning at 6:45 a.m.
Well, week 2, they're in Cincinnati. So that's why I'm like, oh, let's see how you look against which should be.
Well, you know what's interesting is, so week 2 is Jacksonville at Cincy.
Mm-hmm.
That has the ability to be a telling football game for both.
I agree.
If Jacksonville, who looks whatever against Carolina, here's how Jacksonville looked in week 1. Looked like they played the Carolina Panthers, right? So, we looked good. Okay, great. So did the Steelers or whatever. But road game against the Bengals. Now you can show us. Counterpoint, Bengals hosting a team that is not the Browns in week 2, where they're like, what is it? 1-11 and 1-11 in week 2, in week 1s and 2s or something like that.
We're headed into this year, the last 6 years.
Yeah.
Oh, a quick shout out. We got to do it. I have to do it. Green dildos are back. They were at the Browns game. Look how this ref tossed it. He's holding it.
Do that again.
Let's pull this up.
I mean, just listen. This is not having any experience with dildo tossing, just understanding physics. You don't hold the head of a hammer if you were going to throw it. You go axe throwing, you don't hold the blade. If you're throwing a dildo, have the heavy balls. Use that to support your throwing. Why you have the ball? You have the heavy ball area, and you're throwing cockside forward. What are we doing here? So you grab a dildo by the penis head,
mm-hmm.
and you use the weight of the balls like you're axe throwing.
Well,
I would love to see that ref go to like a fucking mighty axe or whatever, and they're like, whoa, you're grabbing the blade? He's like, yeah, it's having to throw it. They're like, what are you doing? No. Have the heavy part for physics.
I don't have it on me, but apparently the dildos were also tossed during the Colts Dolphins game. So the dildos have made their way to the Midwest.
Well, to be fair, in the Colts game, I don't think they were dildos. I think they were the penises of a lot of guys in New Jersey who said, "I'll cut my cock off if Daniel Jones ever plays another game in the NFL. The worst quarterback I've ever seen." I'm glad that your cocks are on the field in Indiana now, and now you can butt fuck your wife with the scar tissue that where your cock used to be for the 4 seconds that Russell Wilson is holding the football.
All right, we'll wrap it up on that. Couldn't be a better way to kind of pull a bow tie in this episode. We do have a hotline. We'll get to some more calls next episode. 859-832-0478.
You guys can follow me at Joe Prano on all social media, joeprano.com for shows. This Wednesday, I got a show at Airliner Bar. If you're in LA, come back out to the Airliner Bar show Wednesday. It's going to be awesome. If you're in San Diego, I will be opening for Jay Moore on Saturday, September 13th at Grand Comedy Club in Escondido, the new Grand Comedy Club in Escondido. Lots of shows coming up. JoePrano.com, Vegas in November. Come to a show. And listen, I want to say one last thing about the Giants before we go, because Jackson Dart's development is important to me. I don't want to see Jackson Dart next week. Give me Jameis. I want you week 2. Jameis.
Get that W, fans.
Jameis.
Guys, you heard it here first. Prano wants Jameis.
Yes.
All right, that's the episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on Friday. Have a great week. And as always, stay dirty.